Okay, Anthony, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. It's a beautiful day out there. I had a productive morning. I'm excited to be here with you. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm excited to be here with you too. I'm WICB's hip hop, rap, and R&B music director. I'm really excited to be here with you, known by most as Anthony Cannon, but legally Anthony Henry.
Correct.
I'm pleased to be here with you. You're such a huge force in the field, truly both, locally and in the surrounding areas. As Ithaca's best rapper in 2019, the Best of Ithaca Time Award. You've got thousands of viewers on YouTube from across the globe. I mean, you're from a pretty city of hippies, but you got quite a name for yourself. It's really cool in this industry, especially as it's rising up around here.
Nah, that means a lot, and it clearly you did your homework. If you're gonna quote Colorblind, you feel me? It was a very humbling experience to win the Ithaca Best Rapper Award. There's dozens of artists out here that it could have been. I'm fortunate enough that it was my turn that year. We have a great music scene out here, and I'm just fortunate enough to be in it. I've been dropping music officially since I was probably 12. I just had, like how memories pop up on Facebook. I just had my memory last month, and it was from a decade ago. And it was like, I just left the studio and recorded my first song, blah, blah. And I looked at it. I was like, I wonder how horrible that song was. Like I don't have it anywhere to reference, but
Mhm.
it's been a very good past couple of years, and I'm looking forward to keeping that progress rolling.
Yeah, I mean, just to quote you even some more, you've talked about wanting to put this small town on the map
Of course.
and making Ithaca more well known for all of the culture that it has. And something that I think that you've done really well is uniting a lot of artists. Bringing people together to share common ground, and that's just making music. And even Cartel, that music, your most recent music video, featured a lot of local artists. I like saw people holding signs in the back outside of the State Theater. It was really cool. I noticed some faces there. I mean, that in itself is a form of activism, a form of bringing people together, and a form of representing something, a greater cause beyond you. I guess I'm kind of interested on how else you're working to achieve the goal of bringing Ithaca on the map and making it well known that there's a force to be reckoned with here.
I've tried to make it a conscious effort since I really stuck my feet into the music scene officially, rebranded myself as Anthony Cannon. I used to drop music under the moniker of Infamous, but I had to change that because so many people had the same name. It's very generic. I went with something a little bit more personal. And since I rebranded myself and tried to come with a new sense of professionalism, I've really looked up to, like, I listen to upstate music more than probably any music in the world. Mainstream, industry, local, it doesn't matter. I know so many artists out here. I can fill a playlist with quality music without leaving New York City. You feel me? I can do that. And so because I've been fortunate enough to make these relationships, whether it's as a fan, a consumer, or I know personally these people, I've decided to reach out to them. I want to support you in however way I can. And maybe you don't support me. Maybe you do end up supporting me. Maybe you listen and share my track. Maybe we end up making a song together. Like you said, bringing people together, that's a sense of activism. It's not exactly why I was trying to do it, but I always figured that we're stronger together than we are apart. Features and collaborations are something that I really take pride in. I know for a fact I've worked with more rappers and singers around here than like anybody, like just in terms of Utica, Syracuse, Elmira, Binghamton. I think that if we connected all the dots, then there's no like Upstate could be the next Hollywood if we wanted it to be. It could be the new Atlanta. You feel me? There's so much, there's that much talent out here, and it's so diverse. Cartel was a little bit different. It's always hard to bring people together for a music video in general, especially when you get a little bit more high profile people like that, like the artists that you were referring to. So I'm just very thankful and grateful that they ended up coming out to the shoot, because you get some familiar faces in the video. It's instantly that much more powerful. And the fact that certain artists aren't too big out here to support another one is, I don't know, it's just something that makes me very happy.
That's something that I definitely realized when I took this position was that there's kind of this underground scene of artists. You know, maybe it was explained to me once that when hip hop was thriving in the 80s in New York City, people were sending their mixtapes down the coast, you know, sending them up here, and people were making music. There just wasn't that outlet for people to really express themselves fully and not feel afraid to rap in public or not. There was no platform, no place that allowed people to perform, really, truly. And I think that was something that I definitely I think we could also connect there as well. You know, just another thing to connect us. The same year that you won Best Rapper, WICB won Best Non-Commercial Radio Station in 2019. Yeah, we got it. We got it. We got it going on.
No, that's amazing. Congratulations.
I wanted to talk a little bit about that year. Just a little bit of history real quick, because that same year, 2019, I started DJing after someone you know pretty well. His name's Ricky Milton. He hosts Looking Back on WICB, which is like a show full of history, taking over the legacy of his uncle, you know, and I followed him with Jazz Impressions. And I used to show up early to that shift just to talk to him, because he's got so much to say. He's an extremely incredible person. So I've gotten to know him pretty well. And one of the most recent conversations we had was actually about you. And yeah, I know. I want to talk to you a little bit about that conversation, because he told me how he's met you when you were young. He's known you for a long time. You know, he used to coach you in basketball, and you played the violin.
I played the acoustic bass and the saxophone. Actually, he might have remembered that as the violin. The violin is my favorite string instrument. That's probably why he said that. I never got a chance to play it though.
Oh, okay. I guess I was wondering, from Ricky's point of view, like he used to know you as a young kid playing instruments and playing basketball. I mean, I know you still play basketball. I'm not sure about the instruments though. I'm just curious on that evolution a little bit.
So that evolution is actually crazy, because it was always there. Hip hop was my foundation. Sports was my outlet, I guess, in terms of mentors and people around me pushing me to have a positive lifestyle. I wrote my first rap when I was 6 or 7. My mom went to prison, and my life got like it was like the Fresh Prince of Bel-Air theme song. Like it got twist turned upside down. You feel like I moved from the first house that my family had ever lived in. We were always in a cramped apartment. I moved from the first house to my mom getting arrested, my brother getting sent to Colorado because my dad wasn't his biological father, and my older sister getting sent to Indiana because my dad wasn't his biological father. So my whole family got torn apart. I wrote my first rap right then. Like I think it was the month after. And I can't remember the full thing, but it was like, my brother's in juvie, my mother's in prison. I can't afford not to make the right decision, right? Some corny shit like that. And I showed it to my dad, because my dad's a very prolific musician in the area and has been for the past 4 or 5 decades. And I knew that music was such a part of his life. I was listening to old Eminem records in my room. Like, I hate my mom. Like, and so I showed it to him, and he was like, well, if this makes you feel good, if this is something that works, because therapy wasn't working. He's like, if this is something that works, just keep at it. Just keep writing. And the only thing I could write for days, I just couldn't rap. I had no flow at all. But you can go back on YouTube and find videos of me when I was 11, 12 years old, putting stuff up. I never showed people. My basketball coach knew me as a completely different person than my math teacher did, than my friends' parents did, to my parents did. You know, I was trying to blend into whatever crowd I was in, but I was still pursuing music in my head. Basketball was what everybody bred me to be. Like I thought I was going to the NBA when I was 5 years old, and I didn't realize until I stopped growing at 15, 16 that it just wasn't happening. So when I realized I wasn't going to go to the NBA or NFL, I figured, why not? What's stopping you from being the best rapper that you could possibly be? So I've just been trying to grow with that. I know that him and his whole family are practically involved with music. They're embedded into the community out here, almost staples to a lot of people. You feel me? So I'm not sure when Ricky became privy of my pursuit of rap or when he realized how serious I was trying to take it. But I can't imagine it was till after high school at least, because most people, I was only doing remixes. You feel me? I was going and doing shows in different cities. My peers knew me as this rapper, blah, blah. But once it got past like 20, 21 years old, I was just a little kid. Like, like the adults didn't really treat me like that. That's why I tried to come with a different sense of professionalism in the past couple years, because I don't want to be looked at as that little kid. I want people to take me serious, and they'll only take you as serious as you take yourself. So shout out Ricky, because he was a huge part of my uprising, the whole Milton family in general. Thank you for.
Yeah, of course. I wanted to tell you that, and I figured that it was the best time when I could get your quick response. So I guess that kind of takes us to Colorblind, one of the first project really besides your EP that I figured was the first that you were titled as Anthony Kannon, the first rebrand, your first official step into that professional phase. So I got to tell you, I really like that project. I went into it thinking it was going to be a little bit different than what it actually was. We had talked about Colorblind and talking about it during this interview a few months ago, and you let on a very, very different meaning than what I think I took home from it. Just like what it means to you. So I kind of want to level with you there and see where we come to. So something that clicked after a while was the actual meaning of colorblind and its dichotomous nature, where when you told me about it, you told me colorblind is about, and I quote you having the lightest skin that you've ever seen, but still proud to be Black. That's not a direct quote. You having, and I quote, the lightest skin that you've ever seen, but still proud to be Black. And that's where I took, like, when I first started listening, that's like that's the first line, if I'm not mistaken, of the first track. So like, so when I started listening to that, that's where I thought that you were headed with it. What it was like to live in a world where everybody is judging you based on your appearance, and like taking that for who you are and what you are, and that's it. And then you listen a few songs in, and then you start to realize that you're colorblind too. And that you see the world colorless and in grays. And I like when that hit me, especially like going from the beginning and right in the middle is when you kind of make that clear. I really want you to talk on that, because I thought it was extremely profound, and it hit me pretty hard when I was like, whoa, this is bigger than what I thought it was, and it was crazy.
No, that's crazy. That I'm actually a little bit speechless right now. Colorblind was my first attempt at a structured body of work in general. And I tried to be a little ambitious and make a lot of underlying themes to the project as a whole. I wanted to make it very complete and cohesive while not beating you over the head and making you annoyed of the subject matter by the end of it. So you can take the first line of the first song literal and apply that to the whole album if you want to. But like you said, it doesn't necessarily work like that. I probably did do it an injustice when I initially described it to you. It's more about an autobiographical tale about a person walking through life who sees people for what they are and wish that people saw me for what I am. You feel me? And I think around the time that you're talking about when it hits you, was it the song Blue?
Mm-hmm. And then it wrapped up with Reflections, and I was like, wow. Reflections is my favorite track on that.
Me too. Reflections is easily my favorite track on the whole song, and it's one of the only ones without a chorus. A lot of people did tell me that I showed it. They told me to not even put it on the project. It doesn't fit. It doesn't make sense. And I was like, are you crazy? It wraps everything up perfectly. It puts the little bow on it. I don't know. I really just wanted to the intro, the first line of the song, I wanted to outline everything that you might hear throughout the project. And even a little bit more, I tried to go in depth as much as I could about me and what I've seen, without giving every single detail, because I still got to talk about more on other albums. You feel me?
Mhm.
So I really just wanted to make it flow seamlessly, with a cohesive story, if you paid attention to it, which clearly you did, while still adding a couple different tracks in there, like One in a Million, or Dark Liquor, that added a little bit of different variation to it for some people. They're still completely about my life. Like Dark Liquor was more of a satire on drug use and culture and mainstream hip hop. And I wish that I conveyed that a little bit better, because I think it just made me seem like a drug addict.
A
and,
little bit. A little
and
bit.
I mean, shit, I've been there. You feel me? So it's just at that particular moment of my life, that's not where I was at. And I wanted to convey, that's the one part of the album. Dark Liquor is a lot of people's favorite song off the project. I just don't think that I did my job conveying what I wanted to. I'm still thankful for how it turned out. You know, Colorblind was a huge learning experience. Somehow it's cultivated into somewhat of like a local classic. You feel me? And that is something I never anticipated. I just wanted to prove, like I said, I was doing remixes my whole life. I never tried original music. And that was the stigma around me, is that I could rap, it's cool. I might be able to spit a bar here and there, but I can't make music and I can't stick to a topic. And everybody thought I was lying about my life for so long. Like that was the stigma around me, is that I couldn't make a song and that I rap to rap, never about my life. And I really wanted to put a piece out there that laid everything out on the table, and you could take it or leave it. You can dislike it if you want, but you can't say it's fake. You feel me? You can't say it's not genuine. And I think my mission was pretty clear on that. And the fact that you just called me out like that, or pulled the concept out and put me on the spot, I don't know, props to you.
I mean, it was incredible. I did have to listen a few times to really digest that meaning. And then, I realized it on the first listen. Like at the end at Reflections, I was like, wait, hold on. I had to do the replay. And I replayed it. And then I was able to listen to your lyrics and have a whole, like, have that two leveled meaning to what Colorblind is. And then I don't know. It was incredible. I definitely would call it a local classic, though I am not versed on all of the local classics. I must do my own research and figure out like what it means to be a local classic. But I would say this was one of the best projects that I've heard from local artists, independent talent from up here. This was up there for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
And I guess it sounded like something that I talked to you about in the beginning when we first chatted. You were actually we're a little more bent out of shape a few months ago, recovering from getting shot. If you don't mind us pivoting into this conversation, I really wanted to talk to you about that. First off, to ask how you were doing, because when I talked to you, you didn't seem so well. You weren't working, and you were in a lot of pain. So I just want to check up on you.
So right now, my well-being is significantly better. Before we actually, like told you earlier, I woke up at 8:45 this morning, and as pissed off as I went to the shower, I cleaned my room, and then I came down to where I am right now to work out. I got a new bike that I can help do cardio in my house. You feel me? Make sure my back doesn't tighten up. I'm back to work currently. I was out of work for I think 6 weeks, 5 to 6 weeks, and I just had agonizing back pain. I had two slip discs. I had a pinched nerve. I got diagnosed with scoliosis. I got diagnosed with the arthritis of a 45-year-old man in my lumbar region. And I got diagnosed with degenerative disc disease all at one time. And it's because I was being stingy and hard-headed and I wouldn't go to the doctors to check up on my back. But we are in the middle of a pandemic. So I was just wary about doctors' offices. I got shot about 2 years ago. It's not a brand new injury. I'm not sure if you knew that. And I just aggravated it worse than I've ever aggravated it before. You know, it goes through phases where it's crippling pain, but after a day or two, it normally gets better. This specific time, it got to day 10 where I couldn't walk. Like I was using my dad's cane. I wasn't leaving the house. I wasn't even meeting up with friends to smoke a blunt or anything because I couldn't stand up. So about day 10, I decided to go to the doctor. They fast or they speed I don't know. They made me get an MRI very quickly. And they were worried that I was gonna have to get spinal surgery and be in a cast for the next 12 months and blah blah. I was not trying to get spinal surgery unless I needed it. If I absolutely had to have it, that was the plan. They told me I had to get spinal surgery. And I was like, fuck. Ended up going back to the doctor a couple weeks later and seeing a different doctor. She told me if I get spinal surgery, there's more than a 25% chance it does nothing. And there's like a 10% chance that it makes me worse. And so I told her there's no way you guys are operating on my spine if there's a small chance that it even gets worse. You feel me? So with the luck of them, I'm supposed to be in weekly chiropractic treatments, physical therapy, going to massage therapy regularly. I haven't gotten to do much of that except the massages. I booked a local massage for the first time ever, and it felt good getting the massage. And when I left, I was in more pain than I was earlier that day. It didn't even make sense to me. So I never went back.
What about the day after?
The day after, I felt a little bit better, but I didn't feel like I had just gotten a professional massage. I felt like somebody had beat the shit out of me. Like I felt like somebody had just sat there at my back punching it as hard as they could. And that's not her fault. Like they did a great job at the massage parlor. It just wasn't something that I enjoyed. But luckily, through working out regularly again, stretching every couple hours, I don't know, and maybe God, like I think I'm a little bit better today. It still hurts, definitely still uncomfortable. The doctor said that I should expect to be in pain the rest of my life. It's just what goes with it. But I can walk without a cane or a walker right now, and that's something that you can be thankful for. You feel me?
I think that experience, though, I mean, you could speak more on it, of course. Was that potentially fatal experience? Was that a real pivot point for you to pursue anything harder, like music,
Yeah.
or to live life to the fullest every day? Like, what did you take from that experience the most, I guess?
It made me realize that people say this all the time. You could walk out of your house and a piano falls from the sky and you could die like that and you would never know. Life comes and goes. You feel me? I was sitting on my bed at 1 a.m. I got shot in my bedroom. Um, I was sitting on my bed with my girlfriend at the time, and I'm rolling up a blunt. She's playing Xbox, and somebody just barged into my room with a gun, and I got shot. You feel me? They had infiltrated my house, put a gun to my dad's head, and then came into my room. And at that point, it's fight or flight, except you're in a 6 by 12 room and there is no flight. So to me, the only option was to try to fight. I got shot in the struggle for the gun. I tried to punch the dude and grab the gun from him, and I didn't even realize I got shot at first. I looked over. I heard my girlfriend at the time screaming, "You got shot! You got shot!" And I'm like, "No, I didn't. Chill. No, I didn't." I look over to the wall. It's splattered with blood. And I'm like, oh shit, I got shot. And I fell to the ground. I tried to collect my thoughts. By the time like my vision wasn't blurry anymore, all the perpetrators were gone. Nothing. As soon as they realized that they had shot somebody, they ran and exited the house. They never found who did it. I don't know who did it. I'm not worried about who did it. I'm just glad that it turned out the way it did. A side note, just because this is the first time I've ever talked about it in an interview, when I got shot, like I said, I fell to my knees, right? and everybody in my house is scrambling like, he got shot. And they pick up the phone to call 911. I'm like, hang up, just roll me a blunt. Please just roll me a blunt before they come. Just let me smoke real quick and we'll figure this out, guys. Like, like I had to be the one to calm everybody else down from the position of danger, you feel me? But I never had some cliche life flash before my eyes. The only time I thought that I may actually die was when I was in the ambulance. And that wasn't really like, it's because they wouldn't tell me anything. I was asking them like, am I gonna die? And am I in trouble? And they're like, you might be. Like, yeah. I'm like, what? Like, can you just help me? Like, I had them play my favorite rapper on the way to the hospital though. In case I went out like a G. It
What
made
they
me
play?
Royce the 5'9". Royce the 5'9" is my number one goat. It made me, I don't know. It definitely made me take music more seriously, but that's not what it even is. It changed my life. I go about every day differently. You feel me? I didn't get shot because it was a freak situation. You feel me? It's not like I did something dirty on the street and somebody came to like retaliate. You feel me? It was a freak incident that I'm just fortunate enough to be here, and I'm very, very happy that I didn't allow it to make me a miserable person. Because for the first couple of weeks recovering, that's all you feel. You just feel anger, you feel sadness, you feel pity. It's just why me? Like I was an athlete in high school. Like I'm 5'8", and I used to pride myself on my jumping ability. The fact that I could dunk at 5'9", 5'8" was the coolest shit in the world to me. I don't think I could touch rim anymore. You feel me? I can't run half as fast as I used to be able to. I put on 10 pounds. Like I still feel good, you know what I mean? But like it's just like my life, how I have to go about everything is different. I used to really care about the physical aspect, and think that speed, strength, agility, that doesn't matter once you get out of high school unless you use it in your actual profession. Life became more like chess than checkers to me, essentially, in every way, shape, or form. You know, I had people that were like, "Yo, we gotta figure out who did this and do this and that and blah blah blah." No, we don't. We have to be thankful that we're alive and be successful, because success is the best revenge. Whoever did that, whoever is doing that to other people, is just ruining their own life. I'm not going to ruin my life to get back at you for ruining your own life. The way that I can turn the whole cycle around and make something positive out of the most negative thing that's ever happened to me is to be successful out of it, is to use it to inspire internally. Because I tell rappers this all the time. If you don't motivate yourself internally, it'll never happen. You're always going to be looking for some outside source of encouragement or support that you're very rarely likely to find. You have to light that flame inside you. And that's what this did. This lit an eternal flame inside of me, an undying passion that I know that no matter what, if I can get through that, I can get through anything. You feel me? That's essentially how I feel and look at life now. I have a lot of emotional and mental trauma, which is significantly worse than any physical pain I feel on any day. Like the PTSD is the worst part about it to me. Like I can't walk down the street with headphones on without a car stopping at a red light and me thinking my life is over. You feel me? And that's nothing I can control. It's not like I duck down to the ground and get scared, but like my heart is like, damn, you're about to die. And that's just something that I'll probably also have to live with for the rest of my life. But as long as I am still living a life in general, I can't really complain.
There's a concept in physics that you've probably know. It's pretty common. Every action has an equal opposite reaction.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's really kind of beautiful the way you explained it. you're at least just thankful to be living and be telling the tale, and be able to have such a, you appreciate how your outlook is more positive than it could have been negative, and that whole experience it was really extremely negative and accidental. So your equal and opposite reaction is purposeful and positive, and I think that that is a really, really beautiful, beautiful story. And I'm glad that you were able to express it here, fully, even with the whole details.
Thank you for giving me a platform to, it's something that I've always wanted to shed a little light on, but at the same time, I like the fact that there's a little mystery out there. Um, there is actually even a local rumor that I didn't get shot and I made it up for promo on a rap album, so
What are the scars then? Were those just makeup?
I don't know. You tell me. It's part of the joke. I don't know. There's so much more to the story and to my personal trauma or the journey that I can allude to, but that's the nit and gritty of it. You feel me? That's how I personally feel and encompasses exactly my thoughts on this situation. I'm just happy to be here, and I'm gonna try to turn something negative into the most positive thing that I can.
So I guess I also want to shift gears again once more. There's a lot of ground to cover here. I want to talk a little bit about your most recent released video, Cartel. And we kind of touched on it before. It included and encompassed a lot of local talent, brought together a lot of people to discuss injustices and talk about even it was a little storytelling too. You talk about your own encompassing of police brutality and the experiences that you had in Ithaca here, that have also affected other people too, and brought them outside the State Theater all to record a music video with you. I think that was a really powerful message. And I guess I wanted to talk a little bit about how you used that video, or that rather that opportunity to bring people together to discuss injustice, discuss, the last 4 years of injustice.
It's always weird to me because I have so much unreleased music, right? And so I know exactly what I've said when I've said it, and I have to check myself because the majority of the music that I have is just not released. Most people haven't heard it. So to me, this is something that I've shed light to or spoken on many times, you feel me? But to people that actually have heard my music or what's on Spotify, you probably haven't heard me talk about it much besides for this, if not the couple times on Colorblind, you feel me? This wasn't something that I was trying to make stand out. This was actually in the middle of a lot of songs that I made with the same type of narrative or thematically, you can say. When I wrote Cartel, it was actually in the height of the George Floyd protests. It was right after he had got killed. I think it was 3 days after. And I was working on a lot of music like it. I had just put a home studio in my house for the first time ever. And I knew it was significantly lower quality than the professional places that I go to, but it gave me the ability to try and experiment new things that I might not have done before. So I linked up with a producer out in Elmira named Jake Daniels. He sent me a folder of beats. I heard this one, and I knew as soon as the beat played what the subject matter was going to be. I knew this was going to be the single with the video about this that I want to actually release. Because when I make a song, I typically don't come out with a release strategy for it till it's made. But this was a rare time when I heard the beat and I knew it was going to happen. I don't think this is the conventional Black Lives Matter song that a lot of people might be used to in hip hop. I tried to make it very personal at the same time general. So I start off the song talking about society, politics a little bit, and then I go immediately into a personal story. It might not sound personal, But as soon as the first 4 bars of the song are over, I start talking about direct stories that happened to me and my father, and that if you don't know, you won't know. And I don't necessarily want to elaborate on them because that's part of the allure. Um, but essentially, I wanted to flip the switch, put people in my dad's shoes, and then uh, kind of juxtapose what's going on in society. You know what I mean? I wanted to lead up into the hook. I knew what I wanted to say in the hook. The song itself, the video didn't come out how I anticipated it, to be honest with you. Half of the footage that we took was rendered useless. We couldn't actually use it. We had some really powerful drone shots with 40, 50 people marching down the street. And that was probably some of my favorite footage that we had. I had a script that I wanted to follow, and Zakai, shout out Scar Studios, that's who helped make the video come to life. He did a great job doing what he could with the footage we were able to maintain. I wanted it to be slightly uncomfortable for some people, but I also just wanted it to be the most impactful song that I have put out so far. And the numbers would or attest to that. I just reached 11,000 views yesterday, which in the first month, which is the most views I've gotten on a YouTube video ever. I have songs that have been up for 3 years that haven't reached 11,000. So I think that I what I intended to do was done with this, but it's not, my job's not finished. You know, this was not a one and done. Lil Baby dropped a political song this year, if you know who Lil Baby is, and if you know the song I'm talking about. He did an interview a couple months after that and said, you know, don't expect me to be a political rapper. I'll never drop a song like this again in my life. I just had a statement that I wanted to make, and I'm not a leader. Don't look at me like that, blah, blah. And I don't want to necessarily step out and say I'm a leader. You feel me? I'm not going to say that this is one of a kind, though. This is a route that I want to take and expand on throughout my career. I can't blame any other artist for not personally wanting to take a stance like that, especially one like Lil Baby, which primarily makes club music or stuff that you would turn up to. You feel me? Nobody should be looking at Lil Baby for political advice. That doesn't even make sense to me. But I think as artists with a platform, you do have some sort of duty to address it, especially in hip hop. If it's once, if it's in a song, if it's in an interview, if it's to your followers, I don't know. You just have to shed light once you have that platform on whatever issues you genuinely care about and whatever you feel deserves that. And Cartel was something that I knew from the jump what I wanted to do with it. And I'm thankful to have somebody like Zakai and Jake Daniels who were able to help bring my vision to life.
Yeah, I really like that stance that you're taking too, and you could kind of even tell that in Cartel you say that you've got some plans coming, but you don't want to be too specific. I mean, are those plans not too specific, but are those plans to continue to make music that's like, conscious?
Yes, short answer, yes. I plan to make a lot of music up this alley. But I also, for the majority of my career, this is the music that I thought I was making. I wasn't. Like, I listen to it now and I'm like, damn, what were you even doing? But in my head, I was always fighting injustice and I was always calling people out, but that's not what it actually was. And one thing that I'm thankful for over this quarantine period is that I've really been able to tune in and hone in on what I want to do. Despite what I think people want, or despite what people have heard from me in the past, I've been able to get a clear head and figure out my message, my sound, what I want to stylistically do. And absolutely, you could definitely expect more stuff like this, and even more in depth. Like Cartel came out first because this was one, because besides how socially relevant it was, I think it would have always been relevant considering the America and its history. But because I talked about George Floyd a little bit, I wanted to get it out then. But I don't think it was top 5 or maybe even top 10 songs on the subject matter that I have personally, just in a personal stance. I think that there are other songs that I have that will come out that go more in depth, that are more straight to the point. that are more fact-based and less personal. But I also have personalized tracks where I'll give you my own experiences and how they relate into the current world that we live in today. So it's definitely something that I look forward to expanding.
Great. Well, that's awesome. And I mean, you said people shouldn't look to you as a leader, but I think people might already do that, Anthony. I think you are a huge impact on especially young artists or aspiring rappers. You know, I think a lot of people look up to you or just at least know your name and know that you are someone that is extremely impactful in the community.
I've tried to thank you for real. Like I've tried to, I've that's not on accident. I've tried to build that. You feel me? And it's out of a genuine place. I think that if anybody out of Ithaca or Elmira or Syracuse, which actually a couple artists from Syracuse just blew up. Do you know who Polo G is?
It sounds familiar, but I don't think
He's a
so.
he's a famous rapper out of Chicago. Almost anything he drops is hitting Billboard. He was a double XL freshman this year. He just signed his first artist ever. He's from Syracuse. You feel me? Somebody dropped my favorite personal album of 2020. He's from Syracuse. Eminem signed uh, people from Buffalo. Benny the Butcher, he has a management deal with Rock Nation right now. Like Upstate has more eyes on it now than ever before. And whoever blows up is only going to add more microscopes on upstate New York. It's beneficial. It all goes full circle for all of us. You feel me? If my man's blows up, that's beneficial to me. You feel me? Not only am I happy for his success, but it's going to come around and some that's going to lead back to more views. More artists around here need to realize they have a crab in a bucket mentality. You feel me? They think that if he gets cake, that means less cake for me. But there's enough cake out here for all of us in general. I'm not going to tell you, follow me. I am the leader for you. You feel me? I feel comfortable saying, and I'm knowledgeable of the people that do look to me for advice or may look at me as some sort of guidance when they need some. You feel me? I just don't think I'm not perfect, and there are things that I need to fix myself. You feel me? I need to learn. I'm ignorant on many different subjects, so I don't know where I'll lead people to, but I'm comfortable on my own little path. And if people are down to learn, then let's learn together. You feel me?
I do for you. Well, I think this is incredible. I think this was a nice spot to leave us off here. Do you have anything else you want to add before we hop off this call?
Cartel video out there now. It's also available on all platforms on streaming services. So add that to your libraries if you get the chance. I have multiple projects in store for you guys. One in particular should be out before 2020. I don't want to put a release date on it. But if it's not before 2020, it'll be short, or 2021. It'll be shortly after. I have a lot of music planned for you guys, whether it's collabs, singles, albums. I've been going live every couple of days and trying to show what I have in the vault so I can get people's opinions and see what should make a final track list or not. You feel me? So if you see me go live, follow me on social medias at Anthony Kannon. Tune in. I would love to hear your guys' perspective on some of these songs. And just thank you for the support. If you're somebody who's been tuning in for a while or you just got privy to Anthony Kannon, it means the world. You're the reason why I get to be here where I am today. Thank you for having me on the show. I'm happy that we got a chance to do this. Cartel signed. I put the link for voting registry in the description of the video, and we actually got 50 people plus to sign up and register for voting. So that's probably the thing I'm most happy about with Cartel, because with this election, the way that it's going, it's crazy. I don't know. It was wild, but I just appreciate all the support. And 2021, if you thought anything up to this point was dope, I got so much in store for you guys.
Let's go. I can't wait.
Let's go.
Thank you, Anthony. This has been awesome. All right, we'll talk soon, okay?
Absolutely.